Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video, we are going to be recapping the month of September as far as our financial goals and just really talking about, just kind of what life was like for our financial goals and our finances in the month of September. So we're gonna get into it, and so you might want to grab a snack or some tea, coffee, something of the sort. If you like talking money, let's talk money. Let's talk in the comments. Let's chat, and let's hop into the video. Let's go ahead and talk about the personal budget, and I moved over in case I'm popping up things on the screen. So we budgeted that we were going to invest $2,000 and we were going to send $1,000 to our joint brokerage account, $500 to my Roth IRA, and $500 to my husband's Roth IRA. And we did that. That was snatched at the beginning of the month. Also, you guys, I realized that we have created a buffer in our account, and our buffer is $3,000. And let me tell you why. The reason why we need this buffer, that we've always needed this buffer, but the reason why this buffer is so important is because at the beginning of the month, we need a solid $3,000. It's the beginning of the month currently. And I can tell you, we need a solid $3,000 because here comes our investor, our financial advisor, taking the money off the top. And that's $2,000, and we like to do it first. We treat it like a bill. We treat it as as a relatively important thing. It's additional investing. We do other investing too. This is additional investing that will hopefully aid in us retiring sooner rather than later. So he takes that off the top, or we give that to him. It's actually withdrawn automatically, so it feels like he snatches it from us. He takes that off the top. Electricity comes in hot right after that. And then we also have a car payment that is due. And we have some other expenses that aren't really that much. They're like a couple, like $50 here, 20 here, and it's just a few of them. But for the most part, electricity, car payment, and investments, actually those three alone are $2,500. And then also we're kind of paying off this sofa. It's a situation, it's more than just a sofa. But we're paying back Ashley Furniture so that kind of slowly but surely, so that we can continue to prioritize our additional investing or saving. And so we're just taking our time paying it off, and we'll have it paid off by the end of the interest-free period, so we don't have to pay interest on it, of course. So all of that together, that's $2,000, $2,200, $2,400, $2,500, $2,700 coming right off the top. And the thing about it is, somewhere in between, usually like the 1st and the 10th, I'll have a paycheck, which will kind of have everything back to normal. But for the most part, we do have to have a number of thousands in our account at the top of the month, because there's no guarantee. My husband does get paid on the last day of the month, but we've been investing since before that has been taking place. But there's no guarantee that, unless we guarantee it, that there will ever be, enough that I will have received my first paycheck before that investment takes place. So we have to just make sure we have a buffer in the account. It just makes sense to do it that way, so that we can always make sure that, we always have $3,000 in our account. Then when the beginning of the month comes and all those expenses come out, we will, the amount will decrease. But once the checks and stuff start rolling in, because I feel like our checks really don't start rolling in until my first payday, and then my husband's, and then my third one, and then my husband's fourth one. And then the business income too starts to roll in, but that normally doesn't take place until the end of the month. All of that to say, we have created a buffer unknowingly though, because I didn't really even realize it until I realized it this month. And I was like, okay, well, we need to roll over $3,000 to make sure that we're good. And the reason why this is only a real thing is because we have a main checking account where all of our bills and stuff come out of, and our paydays go into. And so we don't keep a lot of money in that account naturally. Like, that money is either sent here or this account or that account. It's just how the cookie crumbles. It's not like that account has a whole bunch of money in it. If it did, we would put that in investing. That's the whole purpose of all of this, is to make sure all of our additional money is being accounted for, either as being saved up for something, which we wouldn't have that just sitting in our checking account, which is our bill pay account, or it's being invested, so saved. Nobody asked about that, but that is something that I realized, and I thought that was exciting, so I wanted to share. Furthermore, All of our bills were on auto pay for September, as they are for every month. So they all came out, so I did love that. As far as the other goals, kind of hopping back to the goals because that was a side note, we did want to pay ourselves, which we were able to do, not as much, but we'll talk about that momentarily. And then we did not resume dog training, so it's already on in the plan for October, because as of right now, it's October now, yeah, and it didn't take place in September, so I did put it in as a part of like a financial to-do for October. Moving on to our financial to-dos for September, I had it in my head that I was gonna buy my friend a gift for house sitting and pet sitting when we were away in Orlando, Florida at the J. Cole concert with my husband's cousins, our cousins, and I did that, and that was fun. I got her like some stress relief cards or some kind of meditation cards. She's into that now. I got her a planner, obviously. I got her some pens, obviously. I got her like some kind of notebook journal thing. It was cute. It had Capricorn on the front, so that was cute. I got that from Amazon. I also got her this little, like, it's like a little wallet, phone holder, purse situation. I have one too, so I got her one when I ordered mine. And I got her like some other little trinkets and whatnot, which is funny because she was telling me like, I'll bring you your birthday gift when I come down. And I was like, oh, that's next week. And she was like, yes. And then, so basically it was like an exchange of gifts. Anyway, so I did do that. I did reserve Bonefish Grill, which we went to yesterday. Had the time of our lives, like we always do. We love it there. It's just really expensive for like, you know, I got like a salmon meal, which is like a piece of salmon and a little thing of, you know, mashed potatoes and some asparagus, and that was like $25. And then my husband got a steak, and that was maybe a little less actually, interestingly enough. Somehow those drinks added up, but we only had one. I thought somehow that added up, and then we tipped really well, so somehow that escalated quickly. So, but we did do that. That was fun. I did go ahead and renew our tags for our cars. So the Prius, which is the car that my husband primarily drives now, because we're kind of in our head, we're trying to give it a break so we could extend the life of it, because I commute to work a good distance and I drive at work like throughout the city, and then I drive back from work, so I'm racking up the mileage. So in our head, because my husband works practically up the street, we are giving the Prius a break after 6 years of me. You know, the car was used when I got it, but I've been driving it, running it into the ground at my same job for 6 years. So we're giving her a break in our head so we can try to extend the life of it. I don't know if that's gonna work, but it definitely will help with, like, you know, I was getting frequent oil changes and stuff like that. So it's definitely gonna help with that in our heads. So that car, my husband primarily drives it, and I primarily drive our new RAV4. And because the car that my husband drives, the Prius, was in my name before we got married, we had until my birthday to renew the tags, and then the RAV is in both of our names. So we had until my birthday to renew the tags on the RAV4, because in the state of Georgia, you have to renew your tags on or before your birthday. So because my name was on the RAV, or is on the RAV, we were able to, basically, long story short, all of that to say, I was able to get them both done at the same time, with my birthday being the deadline. Also, I paid my ticket, so I love that. And there is another to-do that I kind of threw in last minute, which we're about to talk about as we talk about the budget. So I have flipped to the budget sheet, and now we are going to talk about it. Let's talk about our actual monthly budget. So we budgeted that we were going to bring in $8,472. That is what I told you guys on camera last month. However, we brought in $8,673. So literally a $201 difference, I think. Wasn't really that great. I did get birthday money, which I included it as income, only because it wasn't like I was saving it. Like, I got the money and then I spent the money. So I just included it as a part of our income, since I was going to include it as a part of our expenses, or vice versa. So that was great. We brought in a little more than what we budgeted, which wasn't a whole lot more, but it was a little more, which is great because we did go over budget in some categories. So as far as mortgage, security, pest control, electricity, cell phones, internet, water, sewer, cable, doctor copay, pet wellness plan, life insurances, car payment, Ashley Furniture, those were all bills that had a due date attached to them, and all bills that we knew the amount before going into the month of September. All of those were paid on time and the exact amount that we anticipated. Also the exact amount. I technically set retirement as a bill, even though I put it at the bottom of our budget sheet. It's technically a bill that I say is due on the 1st, and so we knew that was gonna be $2,000, and we set $2,000. The thing is, we can always move over more money into our joint brokerage account, so that's why, even though it's a bill, it's one that if we have a little extra change that we aren't allocating anywhere else, we can send that money to our joint brokerage or even our Roth IRAs if we wanted to, of course. So all of that to say, it's not a guarantee that the ending amount or what we end up doing is going to be what we budgeted for, because it could potentially be more, or it could even be less if I write them really quickly and tell them to stop the payment. But I did not do that, of course. So for Reckless AF, that is money that my husband and I can spend frivolously. Typically it is $200. And for the month of September, we actually spent $256, but actually we are on budget. Because I did track the birthday money that I got as income, I then had to track it as an expense. I went to Bath & Body Works and spent $55.08. Moving on to donations/gifts, we are over in that category. For donations/gifts, I budgeted $100, and that category is just for like random little miscellaneous giving. Nothing like that I don't feel comfortable with sharing online, but we actually spent $151. And that was because I already knew what I was getting Michelle for her birthday, but I didn't really anticipate all the other like random miscellaneous giving. Like I donated to a number of causes, specifically at work. Somebody was leaving after like almost 30 years, so we wanted to, you know, kind of send them away with like a nice little gift card. And then someone had a death in the family for which we wanted to kind of help out monetarily. Two deaths in a family, like in the same weekend. And we kind of wanted to help out monetarily in that way. So we did a little bit more as a whole, as a group, giving. And so that kind of took us over. But I never considered that category to be a fail. Even if that thing said $1,000, the joy that I would feel inside, because if I have $1,000 to give on random little miscellaneous, you know, like donating and giving to different causes and stuff, then that means that my income is probably pretty high. So if I have an additional $1,000 that I can, or, you know, additional money that I can be giving away, I would feel really joyous about that, which means that I would not consider it to be a budget fail. Next up, we have travel. We budgeted $250, we did $363, which we kind of ate out more than what I really anticipated for us only being there a short while. Also, my husband bought shots for everyone, lemon drops, or what have you, at the Hilton. So you can imagine that they were overpriced. I don't even remember what it tastes like. So that was one of the reasons that kind of like really, like, cause without that, we probably would have been like in like the 200s, but that really kind of kicked us over. But that's kind of like giving, so we really don't care about that, which is another thing. Technically, I could have put that in the donations/giving category, but it would have been too much of a headache trying to divvy up the tab, because we had food and stuff on the tab that we actually purchased for ourselves as well. So I just put it all in travel. Next up, we have speeding ticket. I budgeted $76.50 because that's what the ticket said, but of course there was a processing fee. So all in all, it was $78.80. I wouldn't consider that to be like vastly over budget. I probably wouldn't consider that to be over budget at all. However, for shopping for our birth month, we budgeted $1,500 thinking that that would do the trick. Meanwhile, we spent $2,392, and I can't even account for it. I know that my husband got me some fancy flowers, which I have no regrets. I don't really know where else the money went. I think I got him like $100 worth of gifts, if that. I mean, like 60 maybe. Like I remember the things that I got him. I don't really remember, you know, like the prices. Oh, also, that was another thing. For these different concerts that we went to, they ended up like doing all of that, ended up costing more than what we anticipated. Also, we bought like new clothes for some of them, which we never really do. So yeah, shopping was over a pretty good bit by almost $900. So there is that. Although I do have to say, I am taking back some of these other sweaters that we bought or whatever, it's like $70. So technically you can kind of really subtract 70 or so from the shopping, because that money will be coming back to us after I return the items. But I haven't returned the items, so it'll basically be like an October type of deal. Finally, we were trying to save $1,617.49 to kind of pay back to ourselves from when my husband was in between jobs. But because we fumbled the ball pretty hardcore with shopping, that left only about $704.19 or somewhere around there that we were actually able to save. Like I was mentioning in the October video, you know, we've kind of been like, this has been a little bit of a struggle, but we for sure should be finished in October with paying ourselves back. Cross your fingers. And the purpose of this, if I haven't mentioned it already, is so if ever either of us are, you know, lose a job or between jobs or whatever, again in the future, we won't have to be on the struggle bus, because we're trying to replenish those funds so that if anything of that sort happens in the future, then we will be fine. So that is the month of September. That's how the month of September went. One little calculation that I did is that if you do the $2,000 plus the money we paid ourselves back, so like the savings and the retirement, then we have 31% of our income going towards our financial goals. But really and truly, this is just our net income. This is not our gross income, of course, because that is not included in this. I actually want to increase the amount so that we are doing like 50% from our net income. So we are kind of a long way off. The reason why we're a long way off is mainly because our shopping category is the culprit, but I have a hard time keeping that. Now, $2,400 for our birthday month was a little out of control, but even regular, you know, I budgeted $1,500 for that. I have a hard time keeping that under unless I went to extreme lengths. I also did another little number. If you include the car payment in us achieving our financial goals, or money that's going towards our financial goals, and actually furniture, then that would leave us at 37% of our net income going towards our financial goals. You might not consider making your minimum car payment as money going towards your financial goals, or even paying off the furniture. But the fact of the matter is, the furniture is going to be paid off in a few months. And so that's $200 that we're going to get back in our budget, technically. And then the car will be paid off soon too. I don't really know how soon or when, but eventually that is money that will come back to us and be put in our pockets, because we're just now literally about to start saving for when we have to replace or repair or something with the Prius. So if you count that, you know, 37%, and then I even threw my mortgage in there, which is really dramatic, because yes, the mortgage will be paid off. So it's not like money that's going down the drain, but I'm just, you know, I'm just saying, like, if we included the mortgage, then 54% of our net income would be going towards financial goals. But I'm just, you know, stretching here. Is somewhat dramatic to consider your minimum debt payments to be like going towards your financial goals. But once you think about it, technically, like, if you're anticipating paying off whatever it is, and that's money coming back into your pockets. The only reason why it seems like a stretch is because we literally have been paying on this mortgage for 2 years. But imagine, like, if $1,500 was our minimum payment, but we were anticipating paying off the mortgage in like 4 years, then I would for sure consider that to be more so like money that's realistically going to our mortgage, to our financial goals. But because paying off the mortgage is a long way away currently, then it just seems like it's a real stretch to include it as a part of our financial goals. But that is something to ponder. Okay, you guys, so that is it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, and I will be sure to get back to you. Also, do know that I'm starting a series in October, in this month, and I'm going to be talking about all things budgeting, annual budgets, monthly budgets, all sorts of different types of things. And so feel free to tune in. That will start in a couple of weeks, and those videos will be going up, I think, on Saturdays, but also possibly on Sundays. So that is it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.